All right. Hello, everyone. So, obviously, we're late as heck for the new content because maintenance. But that is just how it goes. I didn't want to be doing this right after the FGO stream at like 4 in the morning. So, had to prioritize. And I decided to prioritize Gundam. Not as high as FGO. C'est la vie. Anyways, yeah, so this week is yet another suit that we've had in the past being added back in as a fresh, spunky 7-star. Because, yeah, that's just how it goes these days. And, yeah. Welcome, welcome to the party. Now, I was recommended by Mana Fusion to download, what was it, Heaven Burns Red or whatever, and I've done that. Once I'm done this stream, I'll actually be switching over to a stream for that. So if you're interested in checking out that new mobile game, yeah, I'll bring it up again near the end of the stream, but just as a heads up. So let's take a look at our new welfare suit, the Reganlay's EOC version. Fucking EOC. All right, what are we working with? No glasses, that's for sure. They're all the way over there. Screw it. I don't want to get back up. Okay, so the head. EX skill, charge up, shot alpha. Your shot skill cooldown's instantly down 53%. Okay. Okay. That's good. An on-demand over 50% cooldown, just like that. Okay. I like that, actually. It may not be meta or... Yeah, but it's unique. It's really cool, actually. Check the level 1 value? Sure. Excuse me? It goes up by 3% in 10 levels. So you can literally just pick this head off the shelf, and there you go. You got a 1-button 50% cooldown. Okay. That's... Okay, sure. There's literally no reason to not pick this up. All right. So, statistically, what are we looking at here? So we're looking at about 3,700 or so shot attack, which is really, really high for welfares, so that's really good. Melee is under, it's just over 1,000, give or take. It's like 950, 980 around there. So a little more than token melee, but more in line with what we'd expect for welfare, so that's fine. Long range and commander tags, all right. Both really nice shot tags to have. One of them is core, you know, commander, and then the other one, long range, is a really nice tertiary to have more access to, so no real complaints there. All right. Yeah, I'm just bleeding all over today. I cut my hand while I was using a knife or something, and then I sliced a finger while I was handling broken glass, and then I have a, like, almost a scab on my head. I don't even know from what. Today is the day I bleed. Overall, the head for this suit is actually really nice. It has a high stat pool, it has 2 really nice tags for shot, and it has a unique EX skill that I highly recommend picking up at least a single copy of. There's a standard that does this, but this is free for the skin. Yeah. Like, it's nice to see stuff that doesn't get a lot of representation, I guess is the way to phrase it. That's not garbage, because we got enough like amphibious tags, you know. That's not something that's really well represented in this game, but I think that's fine. On that, do we even have a Zono yet? Or a Goon? Anyways, Reganlay's torso. Before 30 seconds pass, shooting power boosted by 25%. All right. So if you're lacking a good torso trait or EX option, this is excellent. Having the 25% boost for the first 30 seconds can do a lot, and that is usable in almost all content except for the really long multi-missions effectively. So sure, not a bad torso. We get rid of the commander tag, however, we get support type instead. So long range support type, all right, one good tertiary tag, and support type's not really that useful outside of some very specific builds. As for numbers on the torso, okay, so we're looking at about 1650, 1700, around there, shot attack, which for a welfare torso is extremely high. Typically, we'd see anywhere between 1000 to 1200, kind of around there. And on the highest end ones, I think we've seen it just below 2k or so. So this is doing really good where it's sitting. As for melee, it's a little more on the what we'd expect from a welfare end. We're looking at about 700, 800, more on the 800 side for melee attack. Which is what, you would see in a welfare most of the time. So very much kitted out towards shot, this machine is. Overall, another really nice part for a welfare. Arms. Before 20 seconds pass, shooting damage output boosted by 20. Flat number, worthless. Long range, and we get the commander tag back. Nice, okay. As for stats, we're looking at about 1500 or so shot attack, sitting around there. And then as for melee, we're looking at about, 3400 or so. So pretty much on par with our launch 4-star melee parts. Kind of, on the higher end as far as welfares go. But with what's available now in the standard pool and 7-star pool and limited pool, it's not bad. Not amazing, Yeah, diggy. The shots, I guess, relatively nice, but even that, right? If you lack a good option for shot, stat-wise, this will do it, but... Alright, legs. After 15 seconds pass, enemy EX skill pen reduced by 22%. 15 seconds is a long time to ask for that, considering almost all major builds have really high cooldown reduction. So after 15 seconds, you might not last to 15 seconds, making this completely worthless. Yeah, so really depends on what you're up against for that to have any usefulness at all. Statistically, we're looking at about 1600 or so shot attack, kind of around there. As for melee, we're looking at about 850, 900, probably more on the lower side between those numbers. Long range 4 desert tags, workable tertiaries. I'm not a big fan of the 4 line of tags. 4 desert is included in that. Yeah, overall, it's okay. Although I guess it should be noted, it is a leg. Legs and backpacks typically do have the lowest defensive stat distributions of all the frame parts. So with that consideration in mind, 1600 shot attack's not that bad actually. So I will take that back. 1600 shot attack on legs is pretty good. But the trait and the tags kind of leave something to be a little desired. Backpack. Job gauge increased down 10%, so you're going to be getting your job gauge 10% slower. I don't really care about job gauge. I think it could be way better than its current implementation. So to me, it's not even a demerit. And you get 28% chance to not recoil. So enemy hits you, you pretty much got a 1 in 4 chance to not flinch. I honestly just don't get hit. Long range, and we get the commander tag again on the backpack. Cool beans, good double tags. As for stats, we're looking at about 1630 or so shot attack, kind of ballparking it around there. Between 1650, kind of around there. For a backpack, much like the legs, good to see that kind of offensive stat distribution. Melee's a little more on the token end of things, going just above 1k. Yeah. It's all right. What's that nope for, mana? I just noticed it now. Alright, cool. Alright, gun. When armored's 80% or less, reduce cooldown by 40% once. So if you are prone to taking hits, might be an idea to pick this up. As soon as your armor drops below 80%, all of your cooldowns will get 40% knocked off of them. However, I still live by the mantra, don't get hit. Ah, okay, Goon and Zone aren't in the game yet. Okay, that's what I figured. Because I know we've had some aquatic type suits, like that one Zaku, D something. Can't remember off the top of my head now. But other than that, yeah, I'm not really thinking any real like aquatic suits. Obviously, Abyss, but that's designed to be a submarine. So, anyways, blah 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 blah. In regards to the part trade for the gun, if you're taking 20% of your HP as damage, yeah, you probably want to optimize a little more. Or if you're brand new to the game, this actually may be fine because, you know, you're going to be taking a lot of hits probably as you're learning the controls and kind of building stuff up. So this may be useful. But once you get to a certain point, you really don't want to be taking damage, if you're even able to take damage. So there's that. Long-range support type word tags. I don't find the support type to be very useful, except in very specific builds. As for stats, we're actually almost at 4K offensive shot. That is quite interesting, actually. We are pushing our way up towards 4K welfare weapons. Okay. Really nice offensively. All right. The other gun, the long-range railgun, Sniping EX. Perform a shooting attack, blah, blah, blah. 6 seconds initial, 21 base, B power, D pierce. It's a bog standard pocket rocket, effectively. I got no complaints there. Same stat distribution, it seems, as the other rifle, so just under 4K shot attack. Really good. Long range and commander. So this is actually a very kitted out gun for what it is. Yeah, nice. Those are some nice guns. Zaku, Mariner, Jin Wasp. There's like a lot of aquatic suits we haven't got yet. And I hope... Okay, so all of our maps take place on effectively a flat plane right now with different obstacles. I really, really hope they eventually implement something underwater. You know, not like changing the physics or anything, but just give us a map underwater. Make us play on like an ocean bed or something, and you can like see the surface of the water or whatever with God rays coming through. You know, something, right? Even, I can't remember the name of the map from Alliance vs. SAF 2 Plus, but there was a map where you all fought in the water, and there was just this little island in the middle, and you could boost yourself up above the water surface, land on the island and fight there, or drop back into the water and fight there. Yeah, I find it weird that with all the different variants of maps we have in this game, we lack, you know, an underwater one. No, man, you can have pre-baked God rays as part of the skybox. It doesn't take any extra processing power, and it still looks good. It's an old trick. I wonder if they can make parts with EX skills bonus, but HP reduce a certain amount to activate. So kind of like a cost to use EX skills. That would be interesting, but that would also really like ding your total score on certain things like Arena. So I don't know about that one, Chief. Cool though, cool idea. I'm just not sure about the execution. Mass Driver, I think, was purely just because of the size of the map and how many polygons there were. They just didn't have it optimized properly. Because almost all the other maps use a much more, like, basic map. Each arena uses a basic flat map for, like, how it has its main combat area. Very few of them have any, like, hills or stuff to worry about, so the triangles are really simple on the big flat maps. Mass Driver had all these, like, bridges and stuff going around, so there was just a ton going on. Yeah, actually, once I'm done this, I'll talk about that, Jarek. So anyways, the shield. While long range, shooting crit rate boosted by 17%. Crit in this game is actually just a joke right now until it gets rebalanced. There's no point even worrying about crit. Long range for desert. I've already talked about the 4 line of tags. Not going to do it again. As for stats, ooh, spicy. So we're looking at about 1,300 shot attack after carryover and about 400-ish melee attack. For a shot shield, welfare, that's pretty good. No complaints there. A little token melee as well. Overall, the shield is a nice little stat. Oh, excuse me, a nice little stat stick for shot machines. Overall, statistically, this suit's really good for shot. It brings some really powerful tags to the table. It does have a couple of interesting EX skills. And yeah, honestly, like, it's a good base to start from for a brand new player, I think. Okay. Let's just make sure nothing else interesting is in here before I talk about that, what was brought up there. We got Gundam type, mobile, fighter, heavy armor, long range, and 400 gold chips. Okay, cool. And what are our fragments? 00 Diver, Gundam, that's Barbados, 4th. And gold frame, is that a Matsumina? Hey, I can get some more EX on it, yeah! Aesthetically, I would say the Amatsumina. I just love the gold frame. In terms of actual gameplay, frankly, none of these really scream out to me, so I don't really have much input on that one. Anyways, we'll let the gacha load. So, don't forget to look at the draw C. You know what, I'll do that first, because God knows I'll forget. Anyways, while I'm waiting for all this to load, have you seen the new SD game? Yes, so I did watch the Nintendo Direct earlier, and so when I first saw it coming out, like starting to play, I was like, oh damn, that's another SD game, that's kind of cool. And then I saw the Destroy Gundam, and I was like, well shit. It looks interesting. I'm gonna wait for more actual gameplay footage to come out of it for it before I really make any determinations on it. But from first glance, it actually looks pretty interesting. So, a little bit of a hype train. Kirby, however, scared the living shit out of me. His new ability to not actually suck things and transform into them, but instead just wear them and become the skin, is downright terrifying. And I have no idea what Nintendo devs were smoking when they thought that was a good idea. But here we are, 2022. Kirby is now a skin, literally. Fucking Kerbo. Alright, let's take a look at the draw C. Now, as this is a white suit, 1 star, I'm really just going to be looking at its utility in terms of EX skill, traits, tags, because there's no way the stats are going to be worth anything in the current meta. So, yeah. Alright, the draw C head. After 15 seconds pass, shooting crit rate boosts by 10%. Wow, that's pretty bad. Xeon mass production. So the Xeon tag does have some viability as a tertiary on melee builds for obvious reasons, written in text there. Mass production, that's again one of those build dependent things. It's nice to have another source of it, but all right, torso. When armor is 50% or less, Vernier consumption equals 0 for 10 seconds. I've talked about this in almost every single stream. This kind of trait shows up. Armor being 50% or less, meaning you're taking a colossal amount of damage to get this to activate. And I don't find Vernier consumption to actually be that big of a deal. I do primarily play shot machines though, so, you know, melee may feel differently. But overall, I just don't think that's really worth the trait slot. Xeon mass production tags again. Alright, arms. 3-barrel, 40mm Vulcan, C-Power, D-Pierce, 11 magazine. The C-Power makes it viable for brand new players that need a magazine skill to do damage. But once you get up into higher bracket content, C-Power is really not going to get you that far. And we do have sources of B-Power magazines now that are much more accessible. So, Xeon. Oh, okay, so we got high mobility instead of mass production. Okay, high mobility is a very powerful tertiary tag used as a trigger for a lot of traits, so Cool. All right, legs. When all 3 Gunpla in squad are power, squad shooting crit rate buff 17%. See, that's neat. A squad stat boost, I think, is really cool. However, the shooting crit rate's useless, but the fact that it boosts the entire squad's shooting crit rate, I think, is really neat to just kind of take note of. It means we may start seeing traits like this, you know, when a suit is power in your squad, it gets whatever thing. So in your 3v3 arenas, you can actually build 2 suits designed purely to buff your primary DPS suit and watch it truly go burr. Xant high mobility tags again. Okay. Backpack. When in arena sortie, close shot attack raise 10%. So this is actually referring to the distance between you and the target Gunpla. There's 4 ranges. You have close range, medium range, long range, and out of range. You can tell the distance between you and your target by the aiming or targeting reticle that you have. And different weapons have different bonuses based on your distance. SMGs, for example, are much more close range, like close shot attack. They get a bonus. Beam rifles and bazookas get a mid range. The beam, like sniper rifles and stuff, get a long range bonus, etc. And this is just boosting the close shot attack of a weapon, meaning you're only going to get the maximum use out of this if you're using an SMG type weapon or a close shot attack primary weapon. And overall, we stop using neutral attacks after a certain point and rely on magazines and EX skills for all of our damage output, because that's just the way the meta works, and the game formula so far. So this will have varying usefulness depending on your current phase in the game and your primary weapon availability. Overall, though, not a lot of use. Xant high mobility again. Cool. All right, the gun. Now, I saw somebody mention that it's comparable to 4 stars. So let's take a look-see. Physical ranged weapon magazine boosted by 10%. This is one of those rare cases where this may actually be kind of useful, as this is a Gatling gun. It does have a relatively high magazine count, so this 10% will probably add a significant amount of bullets to it. Unlike something like a beam rifle, which has more, like anywhere from 5 to 7 shots typically, 10% is who the fuck cares? It's like 1 extra shot at most. It's not worth it. But something like this, you may get an extra, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 shots around there, which could be the difference between you killing someone and not. So, kind of a food for thought trait. All right. Xant mass production word tags. I've talked about these before. Now, statistically, let's see this fully upgraded. I see what you mean. It should be noted that the overwhelming majority of limited Sokai, not 7-star, but Sokai limited weapons typically cap out anywhere between 10,200 and just over 11,000 or so. And that's considering full upgraded marks. This 1-star part, available in the exchange, mind you, when fully upgraded and kitted out, which not hard because it's a 1-star. You can just craft as many copies as you need so you can get it to 99. The hardest part's going to be the marks. This actually just is under 10,000 total shot attack. That is a stupidly high number for something that is easily accessible in the exchange shop. It just requires a healthy amount of investment. I would recommend to any new player or any current player that lacks a very, very solid main weapon, may want to think about, this gun. It's packing a lot of heat for what it is, frankly. Of course, the traits and the tags do leave something to be desired, but that is why sub-slotting exists. And for your gun to actually reach this kind of stage where it's going to pack a punch, you would have to unlock sub-slotting anyway, so it's kind of a moot point. Overall, I'm actually relatively impressed with this. This gun at full upgrade is a viable contender and does actually trump a lot of the weapons in the gacha pool. So congratulations, Drosy, you actually have a really good gun. I'm impressed. And the shield. In shield beam saber, D pierce C power, raise melee attack by 19% and melee defense by 19%. It's a shield. The C power does obviously nerf a lot of its viability, so Yeah, it does require a lot more effort with marks because, yeah, it requires 5 marks. But, yeah. Not bad. The parts of this suit all kind of look like this when marked out. Yeah, but here's the thing, is even when you look at older 4-star parts and you mark them all the way up, right, their stats are good, but their weapons weren't 10k good. Right, that's kind of what we're comparing this against, is we're looking at limited Sokai and the current top tier parts, all ignoring 7-star, because that is just, there's no point even worrying about 7-star parts. But looking at it purely in the looking glass of Sokai and 6-star limiteds, the Gatling gun sits at almost 10k, which is something that a lot of Sokai weapons actually even struggled to do. Some of them would cap out at just under 10k, some would cap out at 10k 200, right? And of course, it can be said that, yes, you know, I look at the torso and I give it all of the marks. Look at how, look at the numbers, how they match up to, you know, older 4-star suits and stuff, sure. But when you look at Sokai frame parts and Sokai weapons versus this, almost across the board, the Sokai parts, when 99 fully, you know, kit and caboodled out, are going to trump what the Drasi has. The Gatling gun is one of the very few parts I've seen that isn't in that bracket that actually approaches it. And it does require much more investment, you know, like Mana was saying, 150% investment, because instead of just needing your 3 marks, you need 5 marks fully capped out, which is a significant investment. So you'd have to put a little bit more in there. But from a free-to-play player perspective, getting a gun that's on par with some lower-end Sokai 6-star parts, and all you have to do is, you know, put in a little effort to, you know, just do your build stuff to get the marks, it's pretty worth it. You could go and do every single part and mark them out, and they would all be as good as higher-end 4-star standard parts, if not approaching Sokai. But it also costs a lot more to fully kit out an entire suit like this than it is just a single gun. So I would say the gun is probably just the best investment overall, because frame parts are always changing. Weapons, a little more static in that sense. The arms have 4K shot. Yeah, lots of parts have 4K shot, though, when they're level 99 fully marked out. Right? Not all guns do. A lot of guns will stop before 9K. So, I'm not saying that you're wrong, Alex. I'm just saying that in terms of absolute numbers, the gun has the best returns to the amount you have to invest when you compare it to Sokai and limited parts that are in the pool currently outside of 7-star. You'll get good returns from the head, torso, arms, legs, backpack, and probably shield, but it won't be as drastic as the gun in terms of what you have to invest and kind of get back compared to what's in the pool. That's pretty much it. It's a good suit overall. It's just not really worth investing in every single part. The Gatling's really good, though. Yes. For players that don't have a lot of parts, brand new, this is, like you said, an excellent suit to start with. It does have a very high base stat pool to begin with. However, it does suffer a lot from the word tags and the traits, but those can be resolved. So, anyways, with that out of the way, hippity hoppity, let's check that capsule pool. After I refill my fun juice, I'm priming myself for the alterations, because I already know it's going to be an absolute shitestorm. It's good whiskey. Okay. So, this week we have the Tallgeese Endless Waltz, Tallgeese F Endless Waltz version, and we have the Qubeley. Both of them are 7-star tune-up, and both of them are new variants. Well, sorry, the Qubeley is a new variant. The Tallgeese F is not. We've had all the other variants of the Tallgeese, so my brain was me like, oh yeah, it's a rerun. It's not. It's just another variant of the Tallgeese. We got a lot of goose. Anyways, so we'll start off with the Tallgeese F. Then we'll look at the... Oh, wait, never mind. They're 7-star. I'm just going to worry about them in alteration. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah, I'm still not going to be looking at 7-star stats. There's just no point. Every week, it's just going to be power creep. There's just no point really worrying myself over checking it. So we'll take a look at these suits in alteration. We'll take a look at the pilots for right now. Then we'll look at the Twitter videos. Oh boy. They really need to start backporting 7-star. They really need to start backporting. Alright, so our first pilot for today is Mallet Sanguine. Well, he looks a little crazy. I guess that fits the Sanguine name a little bit, eh? Alright, when in multi-mission sortie, EX skill recovery boosted by 16%. So what this means is when you're in a multi-mission, any EX skill that has a recovery factor to it will have a 16% boost applied. And it's a flat boost. So if your EX skill heals 59% of your armor, it will now be, what, 75%. So, yeah. Cool beans. Not, I think, the most amazing thing, but maybe if you're running a heal team kind of thing, maybe. Or a heal unit in multi-mission to keep your buddies alive. I don't fucking know. Alright, statistically, we're looking at about 1900 or so shot attack. Solid shot attack for a 3-star pilot. The middle shooter license will help with that as well. So that's cool. And token melee. Okay. Xeon 4 base tags. Not the most useful in the world considering his job license. But workable. Not so much the 4 base, but, you know, workable. Overall, you know, he's okay. He's okay. And Sergei Smirnov, 2nd season. Nice. When all 3 Gunpla are power, squad all damage plus 300. No. The fact that it's a flat 300 damage boost can be very useful on very specific things. If you're running in lower brackets where enemies don't have a lot of HP, that could be a big deal. If you're running in higher brackets, the only way you can really abuse this is if you have a weapon or an EX skill that hits a lot of times. Other than that, you're not going to really see the best of returns on this. Do keep in mind that typically, once you hit so mid-high level damage output, you're doing hundreds of thousands of damage. 300 is a drop in the bucket. So yeah, food for thought. The Defender tag's not doing him any favors there. Ace exclusive, mass production. Ace exclusive makes sense. Mass production as well. Funny, an Ace with a mass production thing, but Gundam 00 was weird. Okay. Statistically, we're looking at 2600 or so melee attack and about 2200, 2250 shot. 4-star pilots as they go. He's sitting in a really comfortable spot statistically, but the Defender job license won't really give him any offensive bonus, more towards his armor, which does kind of have symbiosis with his mass production word tag, given the extra armor. Overall, though, not really feeling it. Could be useful with that 1-star Gatling gun. Debatable. I would rather pack a EX skill that raises my EX skill damage by 40% and drop a SS minus power EX skill than I would have 300 damage per hit, frankly, because that SS minus with the 40% boost will do fuckloads more damage on a similarly statted suit than this. So good for new players. maybe under consideration for very specific high hit builds for the older players, but in general, you're probably not going to see a lot of that kind of trait be useful. If it was percentage, all damage plus 5%, then we might be talking. Might. Because we already have like all power boost 30% and stuff. So it would really depend on how the all damage would be multiplied. Is it all damage at the end of all calculations? That'd be pretty good. Is it all damage plus 5% pre-calculations? Not feeling that one. Interesting pilots. Neither of them are really jaw-dropping. But, you know, they exist. Okay. So we have our Twitter videos to look at, and yes, the Twitter videos do actually exist, which is good. I actually have them both open, so perfect. Okay, so we'll take a look behind door number 1, which is the Qubeley. So it has some kind of ooh, that's sexy. Hold on a sec. So it actually does make the suit hover. That's really cool. I like that. I don't know how useful it is yet, though. We'll see. Once we take a look at its stats, we'll see. Cool beans. We're going to look at any other EX skill, or is this it? Okay. A magazine. Okay. And what's our last one? Funnels. That was interesting. That almost seemed like it was automatically flying backwards while the... Huh. That's exactly what that was. Hold on a goddamn second. Okay, so hold on. Here, it uses its magazine, and we're seeing thousands of damage. You know, like 1,600 damage and shit pop up. 1,522. Then he uses this skill, and it's single digits. I have to assume this is the same build. I have to assume this is the same, like the 1-to-1, the same suit they used in both things. This single-handedly shows why I hate beam funnels. Right here. Anyways. Interesting. Okay. And our other suit for today is the Tallgeese. I don't like that animation very much. Okay, it's cutscene. Cutscene. Looked okay. Is that it? Okay. Very interesting. It's the debuff version of observational post, so you're stuck in that post for 15 seconds or until you get knocked on your ass. It makes sense why they showed the whole thing off. It makes sense. I'll have to look at its actual numbers. It's not accurate whether it actually does a ton of damage or not, since they sometimes use EX against MG units. Yeah, we'll find out. We'll take a look at the numbers. We'll start off with the Qubeley, actually, in that vein. Let's get checking. For anyone that hasn't seen me do EX, or sorry, not EX. For anyone that hasn't seen me talk about alternated parts, or alternated, whatever the heck the term properly is. I figure most of you have, but just in case. I don't look at the stats for these because, frankly, it's safe to assume that when you go to alternate a part, the stats will always go up. We have less than 5 examples in the game currently where the stats drastically differ. So I do still recommend that you always do your own research before actually investing the materials to alternate a part. It's just, I don't talk about it because it's safe to assume that nothing will happen. I only check the EX skill or trait because those are the only things that markedly changed during this. But as this is a 7-star part, I will also be looking at the word tags, as I just don't look at the suit pre-alteration because there's no point looking at it twice when it's a 7-star, and frankly the stats are made up and the points don't matter. Okay. Alright, Pressure, the head debuff EX. Unable to move while active, use the force of your pilot's pressure to bombard enemies. Stop EX skill cooldown recovery of all enemies, so it's an EX skill freeze. Reduce enemy melee attack by 59%, all of them. Reduce melee defense of all enemies by 69%, and reduce beam resist of all enemies by 39%. This is an amazing debuff to put on to a suit that you have in 3v3 Arena. You slap it on there, you have it just drop this EX skill right at the start of a match. The enemy will not be able to use EX skills as their cooldowns are frozen. The enemy will have severely reduced melee attack and defense, meaning you can just run in there and beat the living crap out of them. I know Suki is going to love that. And the beam resistance down as well, just for the extra little cherry on top middle finger. Obviously, it does have the demerits of you can't do anything, so if you get hit, you're kind of screwed. And also the demerit of whatever suit it's on, right? Can't do any other kind of acts while it's locked up. Now, what does stand to be questioned still is, does this EX skill cooldown recovery also block things such as what we saw with the EOC head, where you just get a 50% cooldown reduction instantly by using a skill? Does this freeze that? For EX, or for traits that are after, 10 seconds pass, you get a 40% cooldown reduction. Does it stop that as well? If it stops those kind of EX skills and traits, that makes this extremely powerful as a tool. If it's not able to block those, it still makes it relatively powerful, but it does reduce some of its use cases. If you release funnels, will it continue to attack? Yes, of course. Funnels are independent of the suit itself. It just means the suit cannot move or act. But any EX skills that are doing stuff outside of the control of the suit will still be active. Arguably, what you could do is have the moon funnels on the suit, pop those, and then drop some kind of invulnerability skill that prevents you from flinching, and then pop pressure. That way you have the moon blades doing mad damage, while the enemy has severely reduced melee defenses, and they can't use EX skills, and they can't flinch you out of the trait, so they just have 15 seconds of dodge. Hey Alan, what's up, man? Actually, yeah, imagine you had two Qubeley heads, though. Imagine having two of these active at the same time with this debuff stacking. If that works, that would be fucking hilarious. Fucking hilarious. But that 69% melee defense debuff is fucking brutal. And I actually, now that I think about it, we do actually have, I can't remember what suit has it, but I know we have a suit where its trait is increases debuff effect by 30%. You could actually have a 99% melee defense reduction on all enemies. Food for thought, gentlemen. Imagine 99% melee defense reduction. Holy shit. Oh boy, that's a good chuckle. Okay, Ace exclusive mid-range, very powerful shot tags. Mid-range is a very good tertiary. Ace exclusive, obviously one of the two core shot tags. I have no real complaints about this head. It's got a really powerful looking EX skill meant for CC. Obviously it requires a little bit of working around to get to work, be really powerful and stand out. But if you do that, you got yourself one hell of a high hitter here. Mid-range, a flexible tertiary, like I said, can go into a slew of builds. So overall, dope. All right, let's look at the torso. Someone should check if Suki. Okay, that's a good idea. I don't think this is a problem he can stab his way out of. Actually, he'd want to not stab his way out of this problem because it puts him at risk. Okay, so the Qubeley torso. When shot defense is over 10,000, pretty easy to do, enemy all power reduced by 35%. So, if you couple this with Pressure's first 59% melee attack down. Man, fuck melee is all I can say with this, pretty much. Jesus. This is actually nuts. When attacking with beam, shooting power boosted by 40%. Yeah, no real complaints there. Yeah, oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, oh, what were the tags on there? I saw Ace exclusive and mid-range still. Okay, arms. The beam gun. Ah, here's our magazine. B plus power, 11 shells. Okay, yep, I don't even have to look at the rest of this. It's a bog standard magazine. Good stuff. Tags, Ace exclusive mid-range. Already talked about those. And hold on, let me just check something real quick. It almost feels like I have a sliver in my foot, and it is beginning to piss me off. I think that is exactly what I have. Give me just a second here, gang. This is driving me up the wall. Okay. Problem solved. I'm glad that the bottom of my feet are rather calloused, so I can actually just chop skin off and call it a day. I don't have to go fishing in there with tweezers or anything. Oh. Premium capsule tickets now have 7-star parts in the pool. Nice. Nice. Still requires a shitload of investment, though, for them, but nice nonetheless. Okay, back to the Qubeley. Ace exclusive mid-range. So, we have our magazine EX skill. Powerful. Ace exclusive mid-range tags. Powerful. Good stuff overall. Legs. Melee damage raised 20%, so you're going to take 20% more melee damage. Shooting power boosted by 40%. Nice. While Commander's shooting power boosted by another 40%. I have no complaints about these traits. As it is a core shot part, you're most likely going to have Commander and Ace exclusive tags. With that in mind, you do 20% less melee damage. The tag's already taken care of. You get an 80% shooting power boost. I don't see anything to worry about here. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. And backpack. Funnels. A minus power, B pierce, low cooldown. So this is kind of an interesting one, because in the Twitter videos we saw, that EX skill did practically nothing in comparison to the magazine skill. Did 1,000th of the damage. We'd have to see it honestly in action against an actual target to really make heads or tails of whether or not it's good. On paper, it looks really good, as it is not a typical funnel skill, but it's more of a pocket rocket skill. Very low cooldown, high damage output. But it will really depend on if that A minus power is actually, you know, what it's doing. Because we do have, I think there's about 10 to 12 cases now in the game where even though the power of the EX skill is B plus or higher, it hits very, very weakly. And it's just kind of the way it goes. We don't really know about this until we actually get the part and try it. So it's a very rare case of it. This may be another one of them. Isn't that what I said? You take 20% more melee damage? Is that not what I said with that trait? If that's not what I said, that's 100% what I meant. I'm going to blame the alcohol on that one. Melee damage raised 20%. You're taking 20% more melee damage, and you're getting the shooting power boost as a trade-off for it. So, anyways, Qubeley. The head is terrifying. The torso has a very good trait. That's pretty much the Qubeley in a nutshell. Head and torso, mucho terrify. All right, let's take a look at the Tallgeese. Head, when attacking with physical melee power boosted by 30%. All right, there's a lot of very powerful physical melee EX options available, so no issues there. And while Outfighter melee power boosts by 35%, we do have a slew of powerful Outfighter jobs in this, or Outfighter pilots in this game. So both of these traits are going to be very easy to activate, and you get a 65% melee power boost. It's good stuff. Good stuff. High mobility, close combat tags. Neither of them are primary for melee, but they are both very good tertiaries. So, yeah, okay. Torso. When armor is 50% or more, EX skill cooldown reduced by 20%. That's pretty easy to meet. Don't get hit. Shot damage raised 10%, so you're taking 10% more shot damage. Melee power boosted by 35%. This is a very nice combination of traits. You're getting an EX skill cooldown as well as melee power boost. And all you have to do is have more than half armor and throw away 10% of your shot damage output. I don't see a problem with either of these. Good stuff. High mobility, close combat again. All right, arms. Tempest, charge. Pierce is double S minus and power is B plus. You recover 48% of your maximum armor and melee attack of your squad gets raised by 39%. Wow. That's it's a very interesting EX skill. Now let me double check the Tallgeese here. Is this the one with that really crappy animation I saw, or is this is the cutscene, is it not? That's exactly what this is. That's the cutscene. Okay. I don't really have many complaints about this. The double S minus Pierce means it's going to ignore practically all of the enemy's defense and resistances. The fact it has B plus power means it's probably going to do relatively good damage. And you can obviously boost that higher with EX skill damage traits. So there's that. You should throw away 10% of your shot damage output. Isn't that... Give me a second here. Yeah, you're right. I'm totally misspeaking, and I'm 100% blaming it on the booze at this point. But I figure spiritually, you know what I mean. Yeah. Anyways, overall, the arms look pretty good. The double S minus Pierce, like I said, you're going to ignore a lot of the enemy's defense and resistances. The B plus power guarantees a significant chunk of damage, can obviously be boosted up with traits, so no real issues there. Legs. Against enemy with advantageous attribute, EX skill piercing boosted by 28%. Okay, I don't think this suit really needs a lot more pierce with double S minus, but sure, whatever, man. And when armor is 50% or more, EX skill power boosted by 35%. Well, at least this is a very interesting kind of combination of the two. You get the EX skill power boost as well as piercing boost. That's good stuff. Your daily swig? Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. High mobility, high firepower. All right. Backpack. Round slicer. Ah, okay. So this is the one with the animation I wasn't terribly impressed with. So just as a replay here, let me crack open the screen again. Perfect. So to be fair to the EX skill, has a very short activation time. You're swinging almost right away. Your two swings are very close in proximity to your suit, and then the final swing very close up, very quickly after. However, it does require you to get relatively close to the enemy's suit. Doesn't seem to have any kind of dash involved with it, meaning it is something that it has a high chance of whiffing. So use at your own peril, effectively. But, A plus pierce, B plus power. On paper, it'll do well. High mobility, high firepower tags again. Cool beans. All right. Heat Lance. Melee damage raised 20%, so you're taking 20% more melee damage. Initial EX skill charge boosted by 25%. Cool beans. Yeah. Initial EX skill charge is okay. Not as good as, obviously, normal EX skill reduction, but, take your lumps, pretty much. Probably good to still have a mix of both, so you can fire off your EX skill really quickly at the start, but most of the time the cooldowns are really short to begin with, so Anyways, and while high firepower, EX skill power boost by 40%. We have so many sources of high firepower on good parts that this is a trivial requirement. So, yeah. First trait is okay. Second trait's pretty good. So, yeah. Not bad. Not bad. And the Dober gun. When armor is 70% or more, EX skill power boost by 40%. Pretty easy to meet that requirement. Don't get hit. With long rifle category equipped, EX skill power boosted by 40%. Cool. So have this gun equipped, which is pretty much the prerequisite, and have more than 70% of your armor, which is pretty easy to do. Don't get hit. And you get an 80% EX skill power boost. Solid shit. Solid shit. High mobility, high firepower tags. Powerful tertiaries. Nice. And I think that's it. No. Wait. Are the Force Impulse and the Death Scythe new? I'm pretty sure those are new, right? Oh. Yeah, they're gonna have to be new because they're both in the event banner. I don't know what button I hit, but I hit a button. Cool. New for alteration. Yeah, okay. We'll start with the Force Impulse Gundam. I'm only going to be looking at the trait or EX skill, as it's the only thing that's going to have changed. So, the head. When armor is 40% or more, shooting crit rate boosted by 30%. Cool stuff. Shooting crit rate, still garbage. Against enemy with disadvantageous attributes, enemy shooting power reduced by 35%. Really only good on support suits in my opinion, because this will only activate on the suit that it's equipped on. So, not, overall, just not really that useful. Alright, the Force Impulse Torso. CIWS. C Power 11 magazine. No, not on an altered part you don't. Not with C Power in my house. Nuh-uh. Force Impulse Arms with power attribute, shooting melee crit rate boost by 30%. Crit, still shit. While mid-range, enemy EX skill cut 35% down. Now, what the fuck does that mean? Are we saying the EX skill cooldown is down by increased by 35%? Are we talking about just the overall damage by 35%? I have no idea what this means by enemy EX skill cut 35%. What the fuck does that mean? My kingdom for an answer. I have no idea what this means, frankly. If it's EX skill damage, it's pretty good. Again, this will only apply to the suit this is equipped onto, though, so mileage may vary. If it's enemy EX skill cooldown, so it's getting an extra 35% on its cooldown, this is very powerful on a support suit. I have no idea what it means, though, so I'm not clairvoyant. That actually would be really cool. But it doesn't make a lot of sense. So, what's being posited by Goldhawk is this actually reduces the level of the EX skills used. Be pretty cool. 35% is a hefty number, too. Thing is, the text is just not definitive enough for me to know. So I will actually posit this question up so that I can get a definitive answer. Give me just a second here. Okay. Back to this. Force Impulse Gundam legs. Rapid thrust. The animation's garbage. It's not even worth looking at the rest of the text on that skill. Backpack. Excalibur. S power, D pierce, cutscene cooldown. 58% heal, beam resist of your squad up 49%. The S power alone I think is a really powerful upgrade considering that this is a standard suit part. So if you need a quick pocket backpack EX skill for damage, here you go. Pretty easy to max out too, as it is a standard pool part now, so. Alright, and Vajra Beam Saber with rifle category equipped, initial EX skill charge boosted by 20%. We have so many beam rifles in this game, that is a trivial ask. And with power attribute, EX skill power boosted by 35%. Easy to meet that as well. I've already talked about the initial EX skill charge boost. The EX skill power boost as well is very good. So if you want it, you want it. I'd put this at kind of a pretty okay tier. You know, not jaw-droppingly amazing trait-wise, but it's pretty good, all things considered. The high energy beam rifle. With rifle category equipped, enemy shooting power reduced by 30%, as this only takes effect for the suit this equipped onto. While operated on auto, enemy EX skill power reduced by 30%. Okay. Do keep in mind, this only works if it is the suit you are controlling and it is on auto. It does not count for suits that you are not controlling that are being controlled by AI. Big brain time. Yes, initial EX skill is still good for Arena, but that is a single game mode, not all game modes. And I do try to keep this still kind of an overarching for as many game modes as I can. Yeah. Just, unless the text specifically says for multi-mission sortie or something, I try to keep that out of it. And lastly, the mobile shield. A Pierce, B plus power, low cooldown. It's a yeet, it's a B plus yeet, it's an A Pierce yeet, yeet. Good stuff. Good stuff. And lastly, the Death Scythe. Oi, mate. Oi! Oh, shit. Alright, head-mounted Vulcan. Nope, moving right along. Torso. Self-destruct. Well, we all know what happens when things go self-destruct. 90% of your armor, peace, and it will kill you. That's going to be a no from me, dog. Hyper Jammer. Raise your melee attack by 39%. And you become harder to target for a set period of time. Do keep in mind, this is completely fucking worthless against human opponents, because they will lock onto you and murder you dead. AIs are, they are less likely to target you, but they can still target you, and they will still target you. This is pretty much a 39% melee attack boost in a can. I ain't British. That's... Alright, moving on. Legs. With axe category equipped, melee crit rate boosted. Crit's garbage. When all three Gunpla in squad are speed. Squad melee damage plus 480. So this is going to be something that's really good on like brand new players. That's pretty much it. Outside of that, 480 damage. It's the same statement I made back when we were talking about the 300 damage when all three Gunpla squad or whatever from the pilot. It's just not really that great once you get up to a certain point. And obviously crit rate is still crit rates. It's not that great. What's my battery at? Okay, 60%. I'm still good. Alright, Gundam Death Scythe Hell Bucklepuck. Infighter Jaw, BX skill piercing boosted by 28%. No. So EX skill piercing, that's effectively maybe a letter grade tops. Because we don't have access to the formula on how pierce and anything is calculated, we just have the letter values to work with. Whenever we get an EX skill piercing boosted by 28%, it's kind of difficult to really quantify what that does. What we do know is it just means that you are ignoring 28% more of you, potentially up to 28% more of your opponent's melee defense or sorry, not melee defense, your enemy's defenses and resistances. So yeah, the 28% is, it's all napkin math, really. It's not terrible, but you know, if you're using a high damage, like for example, the Excalibur, where it has S Pierce, or S Power and D Pierce, you may wish to have some EX skill piercing boosts, because that'll bring that D grade up. How much? I don't fucking know. Just probably will. With Speed Attribute, EX skill power boosted by 35%. So this is a very interesting symbiosis. We're getting an EX skill power steroid as well as a piercing boost. So you're getting a little bit in column A, a little bit in column B. Okay. And the Scythe Beam Scissors. Brutally swipe, blah, blah, blah. Lower hit enemies, beam resist by 39%, B plus power, A pierce. Low cooldown. It's just another pocket melee skill. It'll really depend on the animation. Yeah, it's a skill. I don't really have much attachment to it, honestly. I barely remember what the animation looks like in the first place. It exists. Could be worse, I guess. For a standard, I guess that's not a bad spread. Okay. And with that, I believe we looked over all of the new content that has dropped in GBM. We've looked at the welfare, we've looked at the new suit in the basic exchange shop, we've looked at all the gacha stuff, we've looked at the alterations, the Twitter videos. Opa. New gears, eh? Ooh, well that's nice to hear. Let me go check real quick. Shop. Blueprints. Gear. Yeah, thing is, we already had all the numbers shown off for this, and I already talked about it before, so there's no point going over it again. Yeah. Any word if you're getting tickets anytime soon? Tickets to what? Tickets to what exactly? So what I'm going to do here... we also have a beginner's guide sitting on the desk. Oh, hey. That's new. Cool. That used to be where the growth hanger and stuff was before, but they got rid of it at one point, and now it's back, I guess. Cool. Build tickets. Honestly, no idea, man. I'm not the one to ask. Do I look like I have their schedule in front of me? Because I don't. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap up this stream, but within 5 minutes, I'm going to have another stream up. I'm going to be trying out a new mobile game that just released. Yeah. If you are interested in just hanging out and shooting the shit, feel free to join. It's Heaven Burns Red. That's the name of the mobile game I'm going to be playing out. And yeah, we'll just talk, shoot the shit, try out a new mobile game, and we'll go from there, I guess. So, talk about the new SD game before wrapping up. No rolling. I don't have the Haro to roll for the Qubeley head. Honestly, I want to save it for a suit I actually want. Like, again, the Amaterasu would be really good. As about the new SD game, they only showed off a very small amount of content for it. It looks interesting. As I mentioned, I will be waiting to see a little more of it before I decide whether or not it's something I want to buy and play. I don't mind the SD aesthetic overall. I find that it still does a pretty good job at representing the suits. However, if I had to pick between a game that uses SD chibis and something that uses actual full-scale models, I would much rather take the latter between the two. That's why GBO2 had me so pleased, was because it used actual large full-scale models of suits instead of smaller chibis, even though it would be much easier on processing and all these other factors. So with this new SD Gundam game, it'll really boil down to mechanics. Is it going to be a gacha? Is it going to be a basic game? Is there going to be PvP, co-op, all these other things? And although some of it may be relatively apparent, like I assume it's going to have some form of co-op, as it is kind of a 3 versus scenario. I do want to get the official announcement and information for all this before I really pass any judgment on it. the direct was really good overall. And I do want to talk about it, but this is not the stream to do that. That'll be the following stream. So if you want, you can access it through my Discord. I'll have the stream link up in a few moments after the stream is finished. If you are not in my Discord, it will also be posted on my Twitter. And if you're not in my Discord and you're not following my Twitter, you can access it through my channel when it goes live in a few moments after the stream has ended. So you got a variety of ways to check up to the new stream. Like I said, we'll be playing a new mobile game. We'll be shooting the shit about the Nintendo Direct if you guys want to talk about that. Whatever. So anyways, I'm going to get that going. And for anyone that doesn't follow up on that, thanks for tuning in, hanging out. Peace out. And I will see you tomorrow for my scheduled stream if you don't show up for the next one. So peace.